when you come into football, it's your passion and you love it. And then you find very quickly, that it's a business, like everything where it's big money involved and everything. It becomes a business, and the player is an asset and everything. And it's fine. It's fine because you as well participate in it and you gain a lot of it. On the other hand side, if you become aware of what really life is and that you have so little of it on this planet, and I believe you can take as well risks or big decisions to change your life.
André Schürrle, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And nice to meet you in person.
For sure. Thanks for being here in Berlin.
Yeah. It's a nice city.
Yeah.
I heard we missed the weather. Was it yesterday?
Yesterday with 27 degrees.
Yeah, the last 3 days were amazing. You bring the cold from the north to Germany.
Interesting.
Is that like normal procedure here in April that you have close to 30 degrees?
I mean, April is in Germany, you say the April does what he wants. So you have sometimes 30 degrees, sometimes 2 degrees. And
that's the same in Denmark. Yeah.
So it's just changing. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you do yesterday? Did you go to the beach?
I wish. In principle.
To the Berlin beach.
The beach is far away from here.
It's 3 hours.
Yeah. No, actually, you were running a marathon, a half marathon, something like that.
We had a big event here in Berlin. It was the half marathon here.
Yeah.
It was like 40,000 people participating. I ran as well.
Yeah.
I gave it all.
Yeah.
And how long did it take?
It's 21 kilometers, and it took me 1 hour 41 minutes.
That's good. That's
an average. Just do the calculation.
Average speed of what?
4:45 per kilometer.
What?
4:45.
That's good.
It's like
good.
Like 13 kilometer per hour.
Okay,
that's
average.
That's good.
It's good. I was aiming a little bit higher, so we paced. I had a very good friend who's an absolute beast pacing me, and we like the first 15 kilometers were pacing like crazy, and it was like almost 30 degrees, and then the last 5-6 kilometers I was completely done, and I was just like robbing over the finish line, and but it was good. I liked it. It was really nice to go to the absolute limit that I had this day.
Is it the first you did this year?
No, actually, I did the Barcelona marathon 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Then 3 weeks ago, I did in Tuscany, in Chianti, I did an ultra trail marathon.
And
it
what
was
is
like
that?
44 kilometers through the Tuscany. It's like up and down. I believe it was like 1,800, how do you say, like...
altitude?
Yeah.
Not altitude, but the whole track, like the meters
terrain.
you go up, it's like 1,800 meters, and then you have to go down. It was like through the forest, up the mountain and everything. That was crazy.
And that's 44 kilometers in total?
Yeah, 43.5 it was,
What's the difference from that type of run to a marathon?
I mean, the fastest marathon I ran was 3 hours and 49 minutes, and the trail marathon took me like 5 hours and 50 minutes or something. So it's just basically the hardest thing is you have to go basically all the meters you go up, you have to go down over these 44 meters, and the body parts you use are so completely different. You use your quads so much that after the half it's like you're all shaky and you just want to survive. It's a little bit different.
Is it kind of like do you have any sort of tactic or like strategy when you go into it, like, kind of like Tour de France, here's the peak or something like that, I have to rest now? Is there anything to go quicker, or is it just run?
No, it's because I'm so unexperienced in these things. It's like basically always the first now. It's like I have no idea at the beginning as well. I talked to people that did it, and they say like rest maybe a little bit more when there's water and stuff. Don't stress yourself. But at the end, it's like you have to have your own experience, and when you can run, you run. When you walk, and you just. I go into these things to give everything I have. When I cross the finish line, there's nothing more I can do. And it doesn't matter the time. It's just like putting everything out there.
Got it. But is it also a mental thing, right? It's a very
completely. It's basically, I mean, I believe as well in football or anything, it's like 90% mental. It's like, because you go in a marathon or like an ultra marathon, and you know there will come a point where your head tell yourself, just stop.
Yeah.
And then it's just mental. It's you versus you in the whole track, and this is what I love. I don't like running. I don't like all that stuff, but I like to be in a battle with my ego, with my head, to overcome this
The pressure.
imaginations.
Yeah.
Do you think it's healthy for your body what you're doing with the marathons, or do you do it for another person or purpose?
It's a different purpose. I
Like
don't believe it's
mental.
healthy. No, it's like to run 42 kilometers on a street. It's for your body torture, right?
Yeah.
For your knees and your ankles and everything. And you feel it as well. On the other hand side, it gives me so much at the moment to have these obstacles, to have as well these very, very hard things that at the moment, like the mental part and what it gives me after that is like bigger than what I put on my body. And obviously I train for it. I train hard. I do all the stuff I can that it's not so hard on the ankles and the hips and everything. So yeah, this is what I do.
Do you think it's also something that, I mean, you've been playing football for many years also, and you need that pressure in a way, and that's why you picked it up? I mean, it's because you've kind of felt like there was an empty space you need to fill out with some sort of...
No, I believe like after my career, when I stopped, I was 29, and the first 2 years after, it was like, you know, it's like, if I don't do it today, I do it tomorrow, and I don't have to, do I have to really put pressure on myself? Do I have to put in the right sketch or go into the cold, run, go hard on my body, on my mind? It's like, I didn't have the pressure to do it. There was nobody who tells me something. I didn't have to do it. And it was like wandering around, what do I do? And then I picked myself. I was actually, what changed was I was with 5 friends in Poland where Wim Hof does his climbs up the mountain, and with like nothing on. And we took a weekend there, went in the woods in the cold water, and then we did this climb. And this climb up this Nijgard is the mountain there. It was like so hard. We had like minus 22 degrees, the worst weather we can have, like snowstorm, and you didn't see anything. And we like, there was this point, like probably 1 year ago, before that, I would have said stop, because there's a hut like under the summit. There's a hut like 30 minutes from it. You can just stop. You can go in, and then you have this point there. Everybody was freezing and completely cold, and you can just go in there, have a warm soup, and totally fine, because you gave everything. But this was the first time after my career that I said, no, I will do it. I go there, and it was like the worst 30 minutes of my life, probably. But what I say, most important one, because I was fighting my ego, fighting my head, and we did it. We went to the summit, and this changed my perspective on what I want to do. And then I picked the things that I really don't like, and running is one of the things. And
just challenge yourself.
Wow.
Exactly. And I wanted to go in there, and this
so
is where I am.
So you did 2 marathons this year?
Yes.
And 1 half marathon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's in 3 months in total. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What was your motivation to get into extreme sports?
What was the motivation? It's probably to get these points, like I told you now, like on the mountain, where it gets really hard when you don't want to do it, when all your head tells yourself don't do it, and why you're doing this. I want to have these moments. I want to experience what it is to really be on the edge, because I found that when you're really tired, when you're really like on the edge of giving up, this is where I grow. This is where I find myself. This is where I have the most basic thoughts, what is important, where I feel grateful for me and my body and what I do. And I want to have these moments. And where you have it? It's mostly the extreme stuff where you can find your limits.
Can you try to, because we've done ice baths and we've done stuff, but
I saw it. It's extreme ice baths.
It is. But
I love it.
Still going to the top of a mountain in minus 22, and it's not only in an ice bath, you can always just jump out and take the towel, you know? But when you go into a mountain, there's also a little bit of a risk, you know? you can fall, something can happen. And if you have no clothes on also, I mean, what goes through your mind as you're going through or you're climbing a mountain like this? What are you thinking? Is this just pure toughness?
Yeah, to be honest, I never thought about the risks till you say now, like that you can fall or anything, because we have like guides as well.
Okay.
Guides come and they look around and they look how you feel. And then you have to be aware of your own body, right? Okay. And you don't want to push over the limit too much that something really can happen. So
it's not like an adrenaline junkie, not like you just searching for the risk or...
No, it doesn't feel like this.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it. No.
But I kind of feel the same way as you, but from what I experience is this search for comfort through discomfort. And that's why we do the cold exposure, and that's why we do fasting and all these kind of weird things that makes us suffer temporarily.
Yeah.
Don't you feel the same way about what you do? That you have to go through some suffering to reach comfort in the end?
Yes, 100%. It's like I work with a life coach, with somebody who's really close to me, and one of the core things that we put out there was finding comfort in the discomfort. It's like the main thing. And this is as well the content that I put out, like the stuff that I do is exactly this, because everybody in our beautiful Western world is so comfortable, you know. It's like everything can be so easy. You can just lay at home, get food delivery, get this. You don't have to move, you don't have to do anything really. And I believe this is the worst addiction there is, like comfort. And this is what I want to find. I want to find comfort in the discomfort, and this is why I put myself through these things. And on the other hand side, doing it in a community, it's like my closest brothers that I have now, they've been with me on the mountain, or they've done anything with me. And this is so close. It's so different. You get to know somebody on a whole different level in a close time when you do something that brings you to the edge, brings you really to the limit.
I want to take a quick break to acknowledge one of our sponsors, Bahai. As you know, I'm a major advocate of the benefits that nature brings us, and I ground myself daily to decrease inflammation and maximize my longevity. I ground myself daily by being barefoot on the grass. But being barefoot isn't always possible. So instead of using synthetically soled shoes that block our connection with earth, I use these. Bahai have created the world's first running shoe that allows you to be grounded when going barefoot isn't practical. This means that the shoe has been designed with a sole that allows you to absorb all the negative ions from earth, just as if you were barefoot. And the bonus, its base is wide, so it can fit all your toes without compressing them. Bahai offer a range of both barefoot style shoes and cushioned shoes. So head over to bahai.co and check out their full range. And remember to use the code HOLISTIC10 to save 10% off your next order.
Did you know all of these people before you climbed the mountain, or was some of them people you didn't know before?
Yeah, there was one that first time, like one of my close friends, we were like 5 people. I knew 4. It was like 2 of my best friends, and one of my best friends brought one of his best friends with him. And I met him the first time, and he's now like a brother. It's very close, and because you share these experiences, and I believe this is important, and it puts yourself on a whole nother level as well, like intimate wise, because you talk about different things. When you're so done and you experience something like this, it's like, what else?
Yeah, it puts you really close. And we experienced the same with our survival trip. It's like when you go through some suffering together, it's like the bond becomes much closer.
As suffering, right? It's like as well, a word I heard this on a podcast, was chosen suffering, because suffer will happen in your whole life. But if you choose to suffer, like,
then you can tackle the other sufferings that will come, because they don't seem as big as challenges, because you already know how to suffer in a way, or you know how to overcome it.
Exactly.
I think that's also, I think people have to do it now, like you say. And I think that's one of the things we have to find a way to educate children about in school, is stuff like patience, and not always being comfortable and stimulated and eating and looking at something, because if you become that way, the only thing that can top that is another stimulation and another stimulation. So this kind of discomfort it actually makes you happy to go in an ice bath. And people don't understand that because they think it's the worst thing ever. But I mean, we definitely agree with you, and we also been practicing that. I think the first time I ever experienced it was fasting. You know, I also said myself, okay, I want to fast for 6 days not eating. And on the second day, it almost feels like you're making yourself sick. Your whole body is... have you done fasting before?
Yeah, I did.
For me, the first time I did it, felt like you become a little bit sick, like your stomach a little bit. You feel a little bit nauseous and dizzy. But you're doing it to yourself. But once you're done, the way you appreciate food is so much different. And I think that's the balance, you know, that we sometimes miss in this.
What kind of fasting have you been doing?
Yeah, I usually like probably 5 days in a week. I do like no breakfast. I do the 16-8 that I start eating at noon or a little bit later. And from time to time, I do like a 3-day fast or sometimes
water fast.
I did 2 days water fast, and then I started with like juices a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I have the same experience when I do like 1 day fast, like when I feel like I need a reset or anything, I feel like a little bit something is happening, and then I just fast a day, just water or some juices, just liquid diet, and then like you said, you appreciate more and more what we really have, and I believe this is as well the consumption thing. It's like too much of everything, and at the moment you don't know really, can you even go to a supermarket and eat something there? I believe it's a little bit crazy what is going on, and it makes people really, really sick and makes them so comfortable.
Yeah, but also we don't have to go farther back than like 50, 60 years or something to find ourselves in a state where we had very little resources. And now, like 50 years later, we have everything we need. So it's in our nature to suffer. And we are one of the first generations that really get used to having everything around us. So we are not used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sugar and starch and information, everything is just overflowing in a way. But when you say you don't go into a supermarket, you don't know what to eat, you're talking about the food and everything. And you also, as far as I understand, you also do some sort of like, not farming, but like growing your own stuff, right? Have you learned that, or is it something you are into now?
We are learning it at the moment. Learning by doing. We have a big piece of land outside of Berlin, and we put like certain things there, and we start. It's like the first season now. We start now in this April, May to really put something in the ground and learn how to do it as well with our kids, because we decided for them as well to that they know where the food is coming from. That it's not normal to go in the supermarket and you find everything there all of the time, and that they appreciate that something comes off the ground where we live in. And this is like on the way back to the nature as well for us as parents, but especially for the kids, that they grow up in like in woods as well, and we go like finding mushrooms and stuff like this, and really going a little bit back and having like this off breaks from the city where it's like just like crazy madness to go out and just put your barefoot like you here on the ground.
That's the way, So are you trying to go full self-sustainable with your own food, or is it just like hobby-based?
I mean, this would be the best. I'm like in my heart, like I know this would be the best. Not sure if we can, if we are doing it now, if we have the resources as well, like the motivation to do it now. But it's a step into this direction to, if something happens, we know how to grow our own food. We know how to manage certain land and where what comes from, how to build anything. And going back to this way.
Yeah.
And you try to involve your children in everything.
Yeah, we are very much doing so, because living in a city, in a big city, as well in a Western metropole, it's like you become very, very, very fast comfortable. And we had this feeling as well, like we had a year where we were just delivery food and everything, and with our kids. And this is like in our heart, we know this is not the way to live. This is not where the true essence is of this life, of this there's no connection to nature, and we wanted to change that.
I love it.
Can you see a difference on your kids from that year where you were doing like delivery foods and everything, and now when they eat the food that you've grown themselves? Do you see any difference on the kids?
I mean, we haven't really like food, like own grown food on the table, because we're starting now. Although they have a lot of fun, you know, they love it being outside. They love getting dirty. They love helping, like cutting cucumbers off the branches and everything. So it's just.
So there's a different
life, you know, it's a different life, and they're tired at the evening. Because they just run around and they take more risks. They climb up a tree, or they run down the hill and stuff like this. This is just different. I mean, it's fun for me being outside the whole time. Why shouldn't it be for them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And this is as well what is lacking in cities like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's totally the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Do you spend a lot of time with your kids?
Very much,
because I guess you're a busy man.
I mean, this is one of the reasons why I stopped playing football very early. I had my first child with my wife 1 year before I stopped, and I was playing 6 months in Moscow, and I was not happy. It was no fun for me anymore, and I was like, as well, thinking about death, and if I would die right now, would it be okay? Because if you my belief is, if you live a life that is true, authentic to yourself, it's okay that you go one day. And I was so not okay with it, and then I had to take like a massive step for me, and after that, I have a amazing privilege at the moment, because I don't have to do anything like financial wise and everything. So I'm a dad who is really involved. I see my kids all the time, all the day. I do everything with them, and I believe it's a great privilege, and I love it.
I want to take a quick break to acknowledge one of our sponsors, Swedish Cold. This thing that I'm sitting in right here is the most amazing spaceship I've ever seen. Swedish Cold doesn't just produce ice baths. They produce the most revolutionary cold exposure experience that's out there. Not only is it stylish, but the running costs are low. The water freezes fast, and the water temperature remains at 0 degrees Celsius all year long. So whether you're a health-conscious individual like me, a gym owner, or you run a facility, then this state-of-the-art ice bath would be a perfect match for you. For me, this is one of my favorite habits. Not only does it boost my testosterone and my dopamine, it also elevates my core temperature, and it helps me manage my stress levels. With Swedish Cold, you're not only investing in a piece of equipment, you're investing in your future. So head over to swedishcold.com and remember to use the code HOLISTIC10 to save 10% off your next ice bath.
Yeah, because you won the World Cup with Germany in 2014, something like that. You scored 3 goals, I believe. You had a huge career.
Yeah.
So it must have been a big decision for you to retire at 29 or something like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time coming. You don't take a decision like this because of an emotion or anything.
No.
It was a long time coming, and I'm unbelievably grateful for these 11 years that I had in professional football. Although at this time it was just necessary for me. It was making me unhappy. I didn't want to be around my colleagues in the dressing room. I didn't want to train. I didn't want somebody to tell me all the time what to do, at what time I have to be there, at what time I have to do this. And I was just not. I had the big feeling that it was time to take another step, because it was taken more than it gave me at this time. And this is when I took the decision, and for me there's not one day that I regret it.
No. Of course not, you shouldn't.
But what was it about the football world that you were opposed to, that didn't attract you anymore?
It's a good question. That not very specific things. You know, when you come into football, it's your passion and you love it. And then you find very quickly, you know, that it's a business. Like everything where it's big money involved and everything, it becomes a business, and the player is an asset and everything. And it's fine. It's fine because you as well participate in it and you gain a lot of it. On the other hand side, if you become aware of what really life is, and that you have so little of it on this planet, and if something takes so much energy out of you and doesn't give anything to you, I believe you can take as well risks or big decisions to change your life.
That's a very interesting way of like describing it, you know. And was there any, I mean, I know it was a big decision that was probably over maybe even years or something, I
for
imagine,
sure.
because
Yes.
as you say, it's not a easy decision, but was there any moment or any, like you just mentioned the thought of death and the thought of like, if I died right now, would that be okay? Was there any particular situation where you just was like, this is what I have to do?
No, it was no particular situation.
Okay.
I felt it a long time before. Like, this is like a feeling, you know. I believe a lot of people as well in the business world, because you have like different motives, like money or anything. They're so disconnected to themselves about their feelings and what they really feel and what would be right, that you never really can take the decision that is right for you.
Yeah.
And because you always have a reason to not take this decision. And it was just coming. I felt it before. I could have stopped probably as well a year earlier, because I felt it already there. But it took me my whole life to be in this position, and you don't give this up easily, right? To be in a position like this. And so I took my time. I reflected myself all the time, and then it was just there, and there was no.
I have big respect for
different
that.
plan.
Yeah, I have big respect for that too, because I think many people are attracted to the money and the fame in particular.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. Also, imagine being in that position, you know.
Yeah.
There are, I don't know, I imagine hundreds and thousands of people telling you, why would you want to stop? It's your perfect time, and why can you stop right now?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't the football players around 29, 30 is the best time of the whole career, right? I mean, it
Totally
requires guts to take that decision.
Yeah, and that's well my whole, like, my team around as well, my closest friends, you know, it's obvious they can't understand it, because it's a dream of everybody, right?
Yeah.
To be in a position like this, to have a career like this, to earn that money like this, and to that people know me on the streets or anything. So nobody can really get it from the outside that you can take a decision like this. And this is as well where you have to make your own decisions. It's like, comes basically to this. You can't always talk to so many people, ask them about their advice, because it just you get away from yourself. You can never take your own decision if you ask 10 people, because it will be like, one day this, one day this. And but of course, as well, many people came to me, why can you do this, right? And you don't love football, and you don't, you're not grateful for what football gave you, and blah, blah, blah. And I get it from the outside that it can be like this, but they don't know how you feel, and
you have to be selfish there. You don't have to think about other people.
Yeah, but it's not even selfish. I imagine it like this, and correct me if I'm wrong. The decisions that everyone else is trying to make you take is the logical decision. But what you're making a decision with is the heart, which is different, because you have that compass that's just saying, okay, more money. Yes, I get the logical decision of more money and more, you know, stability and everything. But if your heart tells you something else, every time you go in that wrong direction, you just a step closer to depression or something else, right?
Yeah, something that taught me like there was like, the right decision for you is always the decision that nobody understands. This is the decision for you, because how can, like, you feel something that is so against our society or what other people do, and this is exactly what you have to do, because the right decision for you, not for anybody else. For everybody else, it's the wrong decision, but for you, it's the right decision. And there's something I learned, and I had so many decisions after that. It's like, the right decision for you is most of the times the decision that everybody will say, don't do it.
But I think it's also very difficult for football players, because you've been living in this bubble.
Yeah,
where your whole life has been football from the day you were 4 or 5 years old. And what the hell should you be doing after the football life? Because you haven't have time to cultivate your hobbies.
Completely.
So in a sense, you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
How was that paradox for you? Back
Yeah,
then?
it's still part of my life.
Okay,
It's just 4 years. I mean, it's long, but it's in like a life perspective as well. Very, very, very short with what I did before. So I'm exactly at that point 4 years now that who I am if I'm not the football player, André, right? Because it's what I did my whole life. That's what people know me for. That's what my family knows me for. Like my dad, he was like with my agent, my closest person that did all my deals, everything around. He was always with me, and I had to cultivate a different relationship with my dad because as well, mine and his relationship together was like just football based, and we had to really find each other as father and son because it was just about this. And as well, this is a relationship with myself that I have to cultivate, that I'm not the football player. It's like and if I really am into it, it's just the best thing in life. It's just a privilege to have like this open field, and I can choose from it and do the right decision. Just do it for me, and this is just amazing. If I see this perspective,
it's actually interesting because I'm just talking. We interviewed this 100-year-old woman, and she described to us how she thinks she got to be 100, and she's still smart. She's still talking. She's still doing a lot of things, and one of the things she mentions is to divide her life into chapters and always look positive on it, right? And when you said that, that's what I heard. You know, you saw that as a chapter, a great chapter. You don't look back on football and you're like, fuck this, I wish I never did it. But you probably also don't regret that you stopped, right? I mean, it's a chapter.
I mean, this is as well. And people come to me and they said, happy retirement and everything, right? But like something like that my life was over or
You're
something.
29.
That's right, I'm 29. And for me, it was like, that's what I tell people. It was like, like my life just started.
Yeah.
This is what it felt like for me. And for the rest, it was like a retirement and everything. It's like
negative.
It's a negative energy. And for me, it's just my life just started. It feels like it just started.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay, so let's just take it chronologically. When you were 29, that was back in 2020 then that you stopped your career.
Exactly.
What happened then? Because there must have been a gap between that and your extreme sports adventure and Wim Hof thing and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, COVID happened. It was like 2020. Like I took the last plane out of Moscow to come to Berlin, and then like the world stopped, like we all know. And I was just here and like dealing with the situation. I was talking to my family, to my wife, and everything. That this is the summer that I will stop. And then the day finally happened. It was one of the most happy days in my life when we announced it and it was out there, and that I can just for a moment as well disappear with all the media, with all the as well Instagram and everything. There was no obligations. I ended all my contracts as well with sponsors and stuff to just be at home, be with my family and see what life is. And I mean, it probably took me, till the Wim Hof, it was like, what was it, 23? Was it 23 or 22?
Okay.
To like basically what I did, finding more, I was trying things out, going into an investor, investing in startups, learning new people. I was here in Berlin for the first time, like a longer period, and as well got to know people in business or startups that were hungry, that were young people that had nothing to do with football. And this is as well my community that I'm in now. I have like 3 really, really good friends that have nothing to do with really football, that don't come from this world. They come from different parts, and that I got to know here as well in Berlin. And basically what I did these 2-3 years till the stuff started that I wanted to challenge myself more was basically all family. all kids.
Nice.
We had our second kid in this time, and just being with them all the time, and at the spare time figuring out what I want to try, what I want to try out, which people I want to connect, which route I want to go, which doors open as well, which doors I have to close. I mean, basically the 11 years in football, everything that was built around me was built by a team, and I had no idea. I was just saying yes or no, yes or no, and basically just getting my life in my hands.
Yeah. So you had to find
That's
yourself
good to hear.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
that period.
Yeah, completely. And just take my life into my hands. Everything that my dad and everything built around me, like the companies and stuff, to really know what was going on. And it took quite a while as well then to take my own decisions and what to do with that stuff. And yeah.
Did you feel depressed at any moment? Or did you feel more uplifted in terms of having ended your career and finding yourself?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time was very positive.
Yeah.
I had as well some lows, because if you start something and you then realize again, maybe it's not, and to stop it and to not do anything and to really don't know what your path is, and the waiting and the patience can be very hard. Like, to have really patience to be there, to put out your energy and to wait as well, what doors open, and to close the wrong ones that are very tempting, because there's a lot of money, there's a lot of things, and to close these doors can be very hard as well, and to still have this patience. And this is something I had to learn, and there were pretty much a lot of lows as well in this time, where you believe, okay, maybe there is nothing really that brings me out of my zones again, out of this comfort, out of that, and till I started that it's all on me.
But did you find any help in having the financial freedom that you had? Because I guess a lot of people who wants to reinvest in themselves and find out who am I, I think a barrier for people who are stuck in a 9-to-5 job is finances. That, you know, you have to have a certain amount of finances to take some time off and find yourself.
Of course.
Did you feel it as a help?
Completely, of course, because like I didn't have to do anything. I mean, this is a unbelievable privilege to have this time and to really know that you can take your time to find something again. I mean, I believe everybody can do it as well. A 9-to-5 that has not much spare money and everything, it will take them longer, but if you put in a plan and really go after it, you can do it as well. It will be a harder road, 100%, because I don't have to look every month if I can pay the rent, if I can do this or anything, or if I have to do something. I mean, for me, I can do it much quicker because I have more time. But for people that have probably a 9-to-5 job, it's a harder road.
It's a different way. It's a different road. But you had other challenges. It's not like you're just lucky because you had, you had 12 years of being, someone else's asset, which is also a challenge,
That's also a kind of a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah. But okay, I want to ask you something. So now that you've had years to think and you have experienced all this football, do you have any goal now with these marathons and the ice challenges? Is there anything that you're like, I want to do that?
I mean, I can tell you that what races I want to do, what challenges I want to do, but there are like little steps. Like I see a version of myself probably like 10 years from now, or even 20 years from now, 30 years from now, that I want to chase. And it's nothing that I can describe you 100% what it is, how I look and what I do. It's just a version of myself with core principles, core values, and really knows which way to go. And this has a lot to do with physical health, mental health, and just like a spiritual health in total. And this is the version that I want to chase. It's not like that I tell you that I want to run a 100K race or something. This is just steps to
So it's more like the man
life.
you want to become.
Exactly.
And who is that man? I'm curious to who is that person that you want to become?
It's somebody that 100% knows who he is. It's somebody that has core principles and core values, and they're unshakable. And this is what I believe is the most precious thing. And you can feel this person's aura that knows where he's going. Like when you talk to somebody that has strict core values that are not shakable. They don't change themselves for anybody. They don't change themselves because society wants them to, or the government wants them to, or the press wants to have them. And this is what I built for myself.
Yeah.
And this is as well a reason to do these hard things, because I find in these hard things more values and more principles for me, how I want to live my life.
Yeah. And you get to know yourself better, maybe.
Completely.
Yeah.
I mean, which way better to find yourself when you are cramping, laying on the floor, and there's just you against you in this moment. This is where you find yourself. It's not always in books or in as well podcasts. I mean, you can listen to so many podcasts, but if you don't take any action for yourself, it's just
it's useless.
you forget it in a year.
That's what we talked about before. I mean, it's good to read books. It's good to listen to podcasts.
Totally.
But at the end of the day, it's knowledge and it's inspiration. It can only be inspiration for you to take action to do some of
To
it.
apply it.
Yeah, if you only read it or listen to it and do something, that's when you're just the same, but you tell yourself that you're something else.
Yeah.
You need to sometimes also not listen. You need to take time to keep it in a balance. Sometimes listen, other times don't listen and do.
Yeah.
But then when you do too much, you need to go back to listen. It has to always be back and forward. And I think also when you describe when you go out and you're in this situation and you can listen to yourself, that's the best, you know?
Totally. And like you find your decisions in these places as well.
Yes.
I mean, it's not only physical toughness and physical exhaustion and everything. And as well, like, for example, tough conversations with my wife or with friends, like really hard conversations where you are honest and tell the truth. It's the same thing. This is the same thing where more and more you find yourself when you're honest to yourself and to the other people around you.
How do you work on yourself spiritually?
I mean, it's basically listening to yourself. I like what I believe spiritually, like what is really in your heart, in your stomach, and to become aware of it. Where I find it is when I'm still, when I meditate, when I'm like as well on the mountains. It's very, because the nature gives you something that is so raw and so basic and so majestic, like you can't shake it. And this is for me very, very spiritual. And I come to this way exactly the point when I stopped playing football, and this was like the first time really listening to my
intuition.
To my stomach, to my feeling, to my heart, to really go in there. And it was a lot of work, and to really feel it and to accept it as well, like your feeling and your intuition.
So had you kind of blocked all of that out when you were playing football? I mean, did you have any of these thoughts, let's say the first 5-6 years when you were playing football, or did you have any of these thoughts, or was it something that started building up towards the end and then you realized it?
Yeah, it was always there. It was always there. I felt it always as well. I started very early as well with meditation as well, and, when I was still playing football, and to being like in my body and like really experience something different. And it's not easy to really live this spiritual being in a high performance, money driven business. It's very difficult because every 3 days you just get measured by your performance, and it's not, I can tell then in the press or in the interview after that something I felt and what it is, but nobody wants to hear it because it's just performance, high performance driven. So and as well, when you listen to billionaires or listen to very successful people, it's not in the 30 years where they took and made a business where they found their spiritual life and their being. It's after that when they had the freedom and then they stopped, So I believe in very high performance, world-class performance driven businesses or sports is very difficult, as well in team sports, very difficult to embrace that that spiritual life.
But it's very brave of you to take that step, because I don't think many footballers will do that or are able to listen to their intuition.
Yeah.
But maybe that came from meditation. I don't know, when did you started meditating?
It was probably I would say like 5 years before I stopped.
Okay.
As well, reading books. I was always having deep conversations when I met my wife, and everything. It was always that there is something more, and I was always drawn to as well books that are very spiritual or where they find something deep inside.
Philosophy.
Philosophy. I love philosophy. I love this old written. I love the all the Stoics and everything. So I was reading these books the whole time as well during my career. And it was only then, I believe there's one point then you open a door where you're with yourself and you can never close it again.
Yeah.
I believe you can never close it again when you
for sure.
once find that this is not you, what you're living at the moment. You're living like a role that society wants you to, but this is not truly yourself. And once you open that, you can never close it.
Interesting. Very interesting. Because I also feel like we've also done similar thing. I mean, obviously it's a different situation than you, but I had a similar time where I also just started meditating and started doing these things. And I, noticed that little voice in my head that was, that was always saying something. I realized, you got to follow your own intuition in a way and it'll be fine. And it's interesting how it kind of creeps up on you when you start doing meditation and you start doing these things and you become more patient. I guess you also had similar experience.
And I believe this is a constant work, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's so easy to lose this path.
But you have to have
so many things.
You have to have the peace of mind to realize these things. Who am I, and what do I want to do? And like you said, when you're stuck in a football world with media and performances and games every 3 days, it's impossible.
Yeah,
it's impossible. But I guess you can find that through meditation or through climbing a mountain or doing whatever, where you find this sweet spot to get to know who you are.
Yeah.
But what kind of meditation do you do right now?
Right now, I basically do a couple of things. I do a lot of breathing meditations where I do as well a lot the Wim Hof breathing. And then I find on these very hard breathing techniques, when you really take your time after that, you really come to a deep peace of mind, and you're really into it. I do mantra meditations, which as well we learned when I was at Borussia Dortmund. There was a coach, Thomas Tuchel, and he's somebody who meditates a lot, and he brought one meditation teacher to our training camp, and everybody got to learn one-on-one with this teacher to meditate with a mantra, and this was probably one of the most valuable things that I took from football as well.
Interesting.
And what I wanted to say before is it takes a lot of work every day to stay on this path. I'm not saying that I'm perfect in this path and always who I am, because there's so many distractions and everything that's coming. Although when you once found yourself, you can always come back to this path, and you notice when you lose it, and you notice when people are maybe not this, and things you're doing are not like your core values, and it's a constant work, and I believe till you die probably.
Totally agree with everything.
What about Wim Hof? How did you get to know him and get to know his principles and all that stuff? Because you're very much into Wim Hof right now,
Yes,
right?
I am. I love the cold water. I mean, I don't love it.
No, you never loved the cold water.
Nobody loves it.
Afterwards, you love it. Yeah.
Exactly. I believe it was which YouTube video was it? I don't know if it was Yes Theory or something.
Okay.
It was a couple of years ago. I don't know which video it was, and they did a retreat with him. And they did in the cold. And I watched this video, and I was like, they go in the cold water. And then I read about Wim Hof. I got his book and everything, and basically started filling the bathtub with cold water and just trying it as well. The breathing techniques, and once you can do it once, and you already know this is
Real,
the thing.
yeah.
This is the thing. And then we did the climb in Poland with one of his instructors, and this was it.
Yeah.
I was
No way
hooked.
back.
Now I have here an ice tub outside in the country.
Nice.
All my friends have one now.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere. Yeah.
Did you ever meet him in person?
No, I never
Okay.
met him. He sent me a video message after my first climb, and this was
Nice.
cool. Yeah, I believe people like this, I believe they know who they are.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They know who they are. They
Oh,
don't
yes.
care about people. They don't care about people's
Oh,
opinions about
absolutely.
society.
100%.
And they have their way. I mean, you guys interviewed him. It's-
Yeah. Oh, he's
That is
very much like
that's
that.
exactly
And
what he
like-
is.
Yeah.
This is, I believe, the goal in life.
100%. Just to turn it a little bit, unless you have more about
Yeah, we can get back to it.
So, let's say there are some young footballers or people that wants to do that. You discovered all of these techniques after you stopped playing football. Do you think if you had known, for instance, ice bath and not marathon, obviously, but like for instance, ice bath and the mental techniques that you've learned now as a younger football player, do you think it would have changed you, or do you think it would? I mean, what do you think?
This is a very good question. I thought about this as well, what I would say to young players that come into the business now. I mean, ice baths and stuff you do as well in football after the games
Okay.
for
but
recovery and everything.
they've done
I
that
would
for many years, right?
yeah. I would say to find yourself in that way and to always challenge yourself, to be yourself in a dressing room, to be yourself in the media, to really have a profile that people know what they get when they talk to you, when they know each other, because it's so easy to get into a role and into this in this dressing room where you have to drive a certain car, where you have to wear a certain watch and everything. And
Yes.
this is what everybody does because they only see this from the players that are already there 10 years ago. And so to find your way in this crazy world, in this crazy football universe, is probably the best thing you can do. And this is as well like a spiritual technique and with meditations, but as well with coaches and to that people ask them the right questions about themselves and to be very, very honest. And this is so rare that somebody is really honest with somebody that
because they don't want to say anything wrong, or they don't want to, they don't want to seem like they don't know or they don't have the right watch or something. Is that, interesting.
Yeah,
That
and
that's
as well, you have a team around or people around that as well profit from you, right? And there's not much honesty in talks when a person depends on another person, right? Because they still want to be there and stuff. And most of the time you don't have these friends that are very honest to you when you lose your path or when something is not right. And you had most of them probably don't have the family as well behind them that are really honest in certain ways. So
interesting.
I believe to take people and really yourself and take time to find yourself in like such a fast business like football.
So it's not particularly about what you do outside the pitch, like the physical training and mental training, cold exposure and all that stuff. It's about the person you are.
Yeah, 100%. Because, I mean, I love as well. When I left football, I did some comments that like the business is crazy and it's not good and it's not good for your health and it's so different value driven than what is really on the pitch. And I changed my mind a little bit because like everywhere where you have high performance people, this is not a balanced life, right? Because you want to have high performance, and this is like up and down very fast, and you have to adapt very much, and you have to work like crazy hard. And this is something as well. There's no substitution for hard work, no matter if you play football or if you want to achieve something else. And this is as well something to not get comfortable when you achieve something, to just keep working and always do something else. If you look at like Cristiano Ronaldo, it's like crazy. It's like more than 20 years of crazy hard work. This is it. This is it. And then you can really become somebody and become a real good footballer as well in the business. That is not easy because there's so many other things than being on the pitch. But if you find yourself and you have like your values and you work very, very hard, then you can have a good and healthy career, and you will not be too depressed.
Do you think it's also because performance-wise, you're always being measured against the next guy? You're always, because you're still challenging yourself, you're still performing. You still want to run, like you said, you still want to run a little bit faster, but you're not, held up against this guy or that guy. It's up against yourself yesterday. You think it's too much because they are being compared to each other all the time, that they kind of take on this personality that's not themselves because they just want to be that Cristiano Ronaldo with the right car and the right watch, and that's what it can be. So they don't really see the other directions because that's the only thing that they're being compared to. Do you think that's one of the reasons? Maybe.
I mean, you can't control what if they compare yourself or the club compares yourself to another player, or they put you up against another player, or they change you. The only thing you really can control is yourself, right? Who do you compare yourself with? Is it just you from yesterday, or is it a guy that is 4 years older, or the guy that comes after you because he's 18 and is hungry and wants to do something? This is always like this. The biggest competition should be not your teammate or somebody that is another club. Should always be yourself. Because if you lose, this is something I had as well. I had always a chip on the shoulder because I thought I was better, and I compared myself to the peaks of Germany, like as well my buddies, and I compared myself. But this is as well different players, different mentalities, different talents and everything. And it doesn't help. It doesn't help to go into bed and it's like, oh man, I should have scored 2 goals because the other guy scored 2 goals, or he can do this and he's a little bit faster. So no, it should be always you versus you in the whole run, because it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
Yeah. And it might also makes it easier to be yourself on, let's say, just social media or in interviews or something like that, if you're not trying to pretend to be someone else or compare yourself to someone else.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
This is a whole nother topic, right? I mean, really authentic people and authentic as well. When I look at football, like I know a lot of these guys, and who's really authentic to the outside world, right? It's
you never see it.
Yeah, and it's as well being. I was a part of it. It's as well very difficult because the club doesn't want you to be 100% authentic, because you will say things that bring everybody a little bit in trouble, and as well yourself and stuff. So what is the easy path? All right, I take this role and say what the people want to hear, right?
That's what I like about a guy like Erling Haaland. I know that he's still famous and he's sponsored by this and that, but he's more authentic while proving that he's a real brilliant athlete. He's doing cold exposure, he's doing grounding, he's embracing nature and the sun, and he's doing all these sorts of things. What do you think about him?
I mean, it's a force of nature, right?
He's a robot.
And exactly, you have this like these unicorns that are like this, that are probably exactly like they are with their friends, like in the media, right? You have these people, and it just should be a normal thing, because you have so many different personalities, and somebody is a happy guy, somebody is not a happy guy, and you should just be who you are and just embrace it. And I love hearing when he's in an interview, because he doesn't say what the people want to hear.
Exactly.
He says what he thinks, what he feels, and just puts it out there. And you have a few of guys of this, and this is as well the people that you enjoy to listen, because everybody can say or the same thing all over again. And basically is why I stopped doing print media. Like I don't do it too much, because it's like you have no time, no space for explanations, for longer answers. It's just like little things, and they cut it down. Then you have a headline that is completely out of context, and it's like it's like basically every interview sounds the same.
It's old, outdated.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But let's I want to be more enlightened about your mindset, because I read something about you, and you also mentioned it before, climbing a mountain in minus 20 degrees, something like that, in nothing but your shorts. So to me, that sounds impossible, because I've been to the cold many times, and I know that is very suffering in 0 degrees. So how can you turn on the inner heat and not feel the cold and the suffering? How are you able to do that? I guess it must be a mental thing.
I mean, you feel the cold every step of the way, right? I mean, the first hour is basically okay, and the coldness in the air doesn't feel as cold like the cold water. It's not like this.
Really?
Yeah, the air. I mean,
water cools you down faster too. I mean, once you get in the the water cools you down faster than air.
The cold water feels much colder than like 0 degrees air doesn't feel as cold as 0 degrees water.
But minus 20 and with a severe wind blowing, right?
Yeah, we had like 100.
Cold as shit.
Yeah, it was crazy cold. I mean, we were shaking probably 1.5 hours after that. We were like, because it was like your core temperature.
It's really
as well.
low.
You have to look that your core temperature doesn't go too low. So that's why you have the guides and everything, that you don't go like into a phase where it can be dangerous. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, the first hour as well, like people talk, like we talked a little bit, and then the storm came and it was snow and it gets colder, and you have to put your arms to the back to shelter yourself from the wind. Yeah, exactly. From the wind, and that it doesn't get too cold.
How you walk like this?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You walk like this, and then it's a mental
What
thing.
happens if you don't walk like this?
I don't know what is the organs
like
here.
the kidneys or something?
Kidneys, you have to protect them, because if they get too cold, something happens. You don't want
that makes sense.
You have to.
It's also very soft
them.
right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to use your arms as a protection, and then it's like, I mean, the last half hour is just head down. Nobody speaks a word. Everybody's like, why the fuck
what the hell are we doing?
And it's completely mental. I mean, there comes a point, like I told you before, where it's just you don't want to do this, because why should you do it? Why is that? I can be warm in a second. Yes, no, come on, it's okay like this. And then it's like mental toughness, and just to go over this point, because often that's as well what the guide said us before. Your body can do more that your mind tells you that it can.
Oh, for sure.
And this is what you tell yourself all the time then, and it's just a fight against your comforting mind.
It must be. What about when you reach the top? What is just blankets and hot chocolate waiting?
No, at the top it was like the 2 guides, you have like your rucksack where you have like the warm clothes and everything, because you stand still. All right, we're here. We take a couple of pictures, and I can show you later a few pictures. Crazy where we're all like this, and nobody can do a thing. We took a few portraits because we have had a photographer there and everything. And then it's like everything's so cold that and the second you take off your gloves, it's like that the hands freezing.
That's the worst.
And you can't move anything. You can't put anything there. So they were just putting our clothes on and a jacket and everything, shorts, and basically as fast as you can down to the hut, like 20 minutes away.
So there's no point where you're able to remove the physical sensation of suffering. It's just ongoing suffering that you have to fight yourself through mentally.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you're out there and...
But it's like when we talk to Wim Hof, he has the special ability to increase his core temperature so he doesn't feel the cold, you know?
But he's probably doing this every day. There are certain breathing techniques. I mean, there's as well, like he does certain breathing techniques where you go into a squat and you really do like a fire breath.
Yeah, there's a horse dance.
Then stuff like this. And as well, what they told us and what we did, and as well in the cold water, is like long breaths. Long breaths. And then you feel a little bit...
better,
a little bit warm, but still it's like
so it's just enduring the suffering, really.
Yeah, it is.
What about when you do the Wim Hof breathing, do you feel any sort of sensations in your body when you do it?
Yes, I love it. I love it. It takes me to a different space as well. Like when you do hard breathing, we have as well here like a place where they do like psychedelic breathing and stuff like this. Like when you breathe like an hour straight, like crazy hard breathing with a few breaks in between where you come into your like when you hold still, and I love it. It takes me to a different place, and as well your body, everything is like tingling. And you really like when I hold my breath like 2.5 minutes in between, it's like I can feel my body. I can go into different parts because it's so still and you're really in your body, and this is what I like about it.
I feel it can be very spiritual if you choose to let go.
And I tell you, in this place, when they breathe there, it's like 30 people and 25 are crying.
Exactly.
They're crying and they're like screaming and everything because it's like trauma release as well.
I was about to say trauma.
I
mean, we've talked about it in
many
episodes. When I was in Wim Hof, I had a seizure.
Oh, really?
When I was out, I was completely out. And Wim Hof comes over and he shakes me and he says,
"Wake up,
welcome back," or something.
Welcome back, right? Rebirth.
Something like that. And he said it's trauma released, and I'd never experienced it before. But I thought I was taking a nap, but apparently I was like shaking and doing all kinds of stuff, and like saying noises, and my eyes were awake, but I felt like I took a nap. And it was, and he said the same, trauma. It's interesting how you can release that through breath work like that.
It's special.
And it's important also, I think, for many people to know that, like, trauma is not only, something insane. It can be small things, you know?
We
like,
all have traumas.
I mean, someone screams at you when you're 5, trauma. You know?
Completely.
If
you know it or not, they're right there.
It's there.
Things will come up. When you really come to yourself. And this, it's so special. And such a... Like I always tell, like as well my friends who do it, like my close friends, and we're so grateful to like experience this and really get to know it and learn about it. Because so many like people, they never like get this book or listen to a podcast or really try it out or anything, and don't have like knowledge about this. It's I'm so grateful to really like experience this, because it's always a thing as well, the cold or the suffering or the breath work where you come back. You can always get back to this place. It doesn't matter what happens in life, you can get back, and this is it's always a great place to start.
I could not agree anymore.
What about now? What are you doing? You're still doing the Wim Hof, the extreme sports. You're still a crazy guy trying to find yourself. But what apart from that?
I mean, I'm a family guy. I mean, this is as well my 2 kids.
That's
It's
your job.
yeah, this is basically like I find myself, or I put myself in the best position, best version of myself. This is number 1 for me, because the rest I couldn't do if I'm not this. And then basically straight kids, family, because this is as well like, I mean, you have kids, right?
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
No.
No. This is like, once you're really with your kids, you know what love is, right? I mean, what is about these little creatures, and to let them be part of this world. And this is something I'm so grateful that I can experience this, and then that I have this crazy privilege to really have this time as well now to be part of their lives 100%. I know them in and out. And this is as well for men and the later generations as well. My dad or something didn't have the chance to be with his kids when they were young. And so this is, basically my day is family and working on myself. This is basically my day.
Yeah.
That sounds like a dream.
Yeah, it is
sounds like a dream.
Yeah, it is.
Are you homeschooling the kids, or are they going to?
They,
I don't know how old they are.
Yeah, my oldest, my daughter will be 5 in April now, and my little one, my son, is 2.5. The little one is not in kindergarten or anything, and my daughter, we just started probably 3 months ago. We had them very long with us, and just at home and with family and with friends. And she started now like in a small kindergarten. I mean, this is as well, it's like a big topic when you say homeschooling or anything. It's like as well, in what system as well we want to be in as well, want to be our kids, because most of the things is not really, it's not appealing. It's not what I want that my kids to experience.
It's
But on the other hand
Yeah.
side, in Germany, you have this, they have to go to school. There's no exception and
it's
everything.
weird.
You can't homeschool, and
Especially when
Yeah.
the schools are so shit. You know?
Completely,
I
yeah.
mean, the
Yeah.
schools are
Yeah.
outdated. It's so outdated, it's insane, you know? I worked briefly as a substitute teacher when I came back, I think a year ago, like a month or 1 month and a half in a school. And it's just, there's no discipline because I don't know about Germany, but you know, it's just, it's so weird because technology is so integrated and all the kids are so used to using it all the time. And at the same time, the school, and because of the, I guess it's because of the equalizing of the society and women and men and children, and you know, the grown-ups have they don't have any way to discipline the kids. So it becomes like a playing school with technology where they can just go wherever they want to do whatever. It's so insane to see, like the way that the schools are. It used to be something completely different, but yet it's still the same rooms. They're sitting at the same way on the desks and a backboard and everything. It's so weird how education has not been, you know, following the whole evolution and development.
Yeah, like I believe like a school should be the best place for a child, and they should love to go into school.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard any child or any of my friends have said school was the best time.
Never.
It's like
Never.
nobody says it, and
No.
I don't understand it, because what should they learn in school? They shouldn't. Nobody should learn that, or like everybody should learn this, that the same thing. It's just doesn't make sense that every child learns the same
It's
thing,
treated the exact
because
same way.
they're all different. And this is as well something. Then it's like a teacher problem, because you give your child for 8 hours or 6 to 8 hours or something into the hands of people that have their own traumas and everything, and this is what they take as well,
yeah.
and you don't have any control over it.
Yeah.
And
It's
so
terrible.
it's a big
Yeah.
it's a big decision as well for us, because it would be like in 1.5 years for our oldest, and
for school?
for school, yeah.
So they start late?
They start with 6, 7, depends
6, 7, okay.
which month they're born. Yeah.
Mhm.
In Denmark, it's 5, 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to place her in a regular school?
Yeah. No, it will be not a regular school. I mean, as well. Of course, it's a privilege to look as well for private schools, smaller schools where you have as well a bigger connection with the school.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And but we don't know it yet as well.
But how did you manage to have them home?
I mean, like my wife works from home.
Okay.
I did all my stuff from home, so we had a lot of time with the kids. We have amazing like grandparents around, my wife's sister, and they helped a lot. And,
very nice.
Yeah.
What about community for the kids?
This is something
children?
like everybody says they need kids, they need this, they need that. Yeah, but they have it when they go on the playgrounds. When we go on a playground, there are 20 kids around.
Okay.
And they do this. Okay. And I believe why should they do it so early? As well, from 1 to 3. I don't know, it's like they don't speak really. Of course, they look up to younger, but I believe this counts as well. Even if you don't bring them to kindergarten, they learn it with 7, 8 as well, conflicts and stuff, and they will have it on their own. That it will come in different ways and outside activities if they go into sports that are not like. I believe they learn better in like activities that are not mandatory, that they have to be there.
Yeah, for sure.
But they want to be there, and they will learn, and they have the same things to do with the kids there, and I don't know. And as well, like my daughter was at home 4.5 years, and she went now to kindergarten. And she's fine with the other kids. She's fine. It's not difficult for her to
socialize.
To socialize or to be in a group, and maybe even better because she knows the difference as well. Can take her out of that a little bit.
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
that
I understand everybody that works and
it's very
people
difficult.
have to bring their kids with 1 year to the kindergarten. I understand it 100%. It's a government issue and a issue that has different roots. But if you have the possibility as well to have like this time with the kids, is like special, right?
I mean, it is doable. We visited up in Denmark, up in Jutland. There's this place off-grid. So they built an off-grid city that you would probably love that. It's an off-grid city where people, they have been granted this land, and it's 160 people, I think. But the whole idea is 2 things. First of all, off-grid, everything from electricity to sewers to food, they make it themselves. That's number 1. Number 2 is, it's not expensive because all of a sudden there's no taxes on the houses. There's no electricity bill. There's a lot of things. So it becomes so cheap that only one parent has to work a regular job, like school teachers and other stuff. So they have a whole community of 160 people where the kids have a community of the people living there, and the parents only one of them need to work. And it seemed so much more healthy, like the society itself. It was so healthy to walk around. The houses looked different. They had like nature all around them, and
kids
animals
were just running around.
And it was
it was so natural.
They were not rich.
No,
they were normal people.
On the contrary.
On the contrary, they were normal people, and it's just so interesting to see how the government is working against them.
Yeah.
Even though the government says they want, green agenda and all that shit, it's not really true, because if it was true, why would they try to, put a barrier up in front of these people that are actually doing it? These people probably have the lowest, CO2 footprint of all people. What do you think of that?
I mean, you can't make money out of them, right? I mean, this is the thing,
That's
right?
the problem, for them.
Yeah, and this is, this is the problem for them. And this is probably the biggest challenge as well in the society. Like everybody has like a certain as well, like a gender role, like females and males
Yes.
that are so mixed at the moment, mixed together. Nobody exactly knows what to do. I mean, the females are getting told, the women getting told they have to have a career, they have to have kids, they have to be the best moms, but they have to be as well the CEO of a company that is listed or anything.
Yeah.
And then what is the male? Oh, he doesn't really have to provide anymore. Does he have to protect?
Cook and clean.
What is really the mission of a male, and what is then called toxic or anything? What is called like 50 years ago was just being a
normal
man,
person,
right? A normal man, and
following the biological roles.
Exactly, and this is so mixed up and so difficult as well. Then for kids, because what happens then, you have two parents working, getting after their careers that they maybe want or doesn't want, because they follow a path that is just we said, and at the end everybody is unhappy, right? Because nobody knows where the position is in the family, nobody knows where the position is in a society, because you're so in an individual path that is
kind of like
just written, because when you go as well here, I believe a lot of women that are pursuing careers that are, I don't know what doing, I don't know if they really want to do it, but being a mom at home is not enough anymore for them, because the society tells them to, and this is so it's not healthy. And I believe
it's a big
every
problem.
time you lose that path, as well as a man, when you don't provide or protect anymore, I believe you can't be happy.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, true.
Because this is so
it's
deeply
in our
rooted,
nature,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just funny because it kind of reminds me when we were talking about your whole football career, you know, like people don't have a peace of mind to see if what they're doing is actually what they want to do until they take that little break and sometimes think, wait, let me try to think about something that's not logical. Let me try to feel a little bit with something else. Let me meditate, because that's just my perspective. I don't really think that it's something that you feel. I think it's something that you pick up. You know? Because if you think about it, what is the heart? It's the biggest pump in your body. Which means it has the biggest electromagnetic field in your body. So if that's true, then it must also go outside of your body and pick up things, right? What if it's actually picking up things and it's more about listening through breathing, which is right next to your heart? Right? What if it's about actually listening, actually taking something in, taking a deep breath and just say, okay, this CEO path, making 100,000 euro a month while having 4 kids, is that the right option for me as a mom? Let me just take a listen, and maybe you'll find something else. I mean... But
it's about knowing how to listen. And I think that's what people's problem are.
And, you know, as well, coming back as well, being who you really are. Right? It's like, listen who you are and being who you are, not following any people of Instagram that have like the life you want to have, but not really like desire to have. I believe there's a difference between wanting and like feeling and the desire. And most of the people want. And I compare wanting to always the ego, something that is like from an outside source that is not really who you are. And a lot of men and a lot of women in 20, 30 years, when they realize what they did with their 20s, 30s or 40s, and the kids are old, they will not be happy.
Regret it. And that's also my biggest motivation for spending time with my daughter. It is, I will regret it so much, because you know that in a few years, they're gone.
Completely.
And you won't see them again. And like you'll see them like once per week if you're lucky. When they come home for dinner. So, and I don't think people acknowledge that enough.
No, and it's not like when you there's this book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying or anything, right? And it's like it's as well like when you lay in the bed when you're hopefully 100.
Yeah.
And you're close to dying and everything. You will not remember if you worked in an office on this day or typed anything, or so you will not remember. It's experience with people that you love. And
And I also think what you will not regret is all the things that you did. If you took, for instance, like you take a chance, fuck football, not fuck, but let me get out of this now. You don't regret this. Like when you are taking active decisions, it's not something you regret, but what will you regret? You will regret all the stuff that you didn't do, right?
Totally. I mean, you will regret anything, of course. And I heard this quote, I don't know who it was like, in life, you have to choose your regrets. And I believe it, that there will be regrets because you always have a decision to make as well. Like if you do this or this and you don't know if it's right, and you will choose not to do this, and this will be a regret, but you choose it. It's not something that
that just happens.
Exactly. So
and that's also, I mean, back to being comfortable and uncomfortable. That's what you learn. You learn to make the decision, okay, I'm going to get through this, and I could be warm and safe, but I'm doing this, you know? You take the active decision of doing it, so when you meet that obstacle in your daily life after, you won't regret it because you'll be so confident and so ready to tackle any problem that will be that down road. You won't even have time to think about the other thing, in a way, right?
Totally.
I think.
And your next project, I read about with you and Mario Götze, right? Investing in medicinal cannabis.
Yeah.
What is that about?
I mean, I did a couple of investments, probably like 30 to 40 investments like the last couple of years. And I have a few as well with Mario. He's very close to me.
Okay.
And I mean, medical cannabis and cannabis as a total, when you really listen to people that know the plant, and it's not just like puffing and getting high or anything, because most of the people, and as well in science and everything, you don't know the whole about this plant, what it can do and what it can help with and everything, because there's not many studies done in the whole plant, how it is. So I believe this is something, and I'm happy that Germany legalized it, like parts of it at the moment, to really get after it and see if all of the people don't have to take all the medicine that big pharma give them till the end of the days, and you can do as well something with plants. So I believe it's a great cause, and as well with other plants, I hope there comes more and more. But cannabis is probably one of the plants that has the biggest potential in helping people.
Okay. Do you have any personal experience with it since you chose the cannabis path, or what was your motivation?
I mean, I couldn't do it for a long time because I was in football as well.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if you go to the anxiety side or to the not relaxing side, most of the people, they can't really relax or they come down. But if you go with a small dose, I mean, I don't do it all the time, but there's times just a small dose as well can help you relax, can help you come down, can help you clear your thoughts as well. And like this morning, I did a session with a coach of mine, and he talked about like mind-body connection, right? While stretching or while working out, like most of the people who are doing calisthenics or really in the body, they notice as well when you take a little bit of cannabis and you stretch or work out, then you really, I haven't experienced, he told me that you really feel your muscles and you're in your muscles. And one of these workouts is like 25 workouts not being on your phone or anything, not really being in your muscle. So I believe there will be a lot of more good things coming from substances as well, mushrooms or anything that bring you closer to yourself.
Yeah.
So is it the oil that you have an experience with, or is it smoking, or how do you use it?
Yeah, it's an oil. It's an oil. THC oil.
So you take some drops.
Yeah, no, I vape it. It's in a vapor, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel?
I mean, it's relaxed, right? It also depends how you. I'm not really experienced in this thing, so I can't tell you how much
No.
is good or how much is not good. I mean, if you take too much, you laugh a lot. But
We've tried it.
but
Just with smoking instead. Yeah.
Once.
But
No.
A little more than once. Yeah. It's
yeah, but
yeah,
I
it's funny.
think as well, like all this trend with ayahuasca and with MDMA and everything, I believe it's good because you see evidence and people who take it. I did a mushroom trip as well, and it
You did?
was like crazy.
Yeah?
It was crazy. It's amazing. I was never more comfortable in my life than in these 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
Mushrooms?
mushrooms.
What
yeah.
kind of mushrooms?
It was like psilocybin.
Psilocybin, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this, yeah,
Yeah, it's insane
It's
that's even
amazing.
illegal, that you can't try it. I mean,
Yeah, but you know why it is illegal?
because you can't make money on it?
Yeah, because you can make money and it's healing people in ways that pharmaceuticals don't.
True.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
And people get, a little bit more, maybe a little bit more opposed to the general opinion.
Getting
or
connection with
a little
spirit.
bit more creative, or,
spiritual.
don't like the
Yeah.
original path. Maybe.
yeah, but you come very close. I mean, going to something legal with like heavy breathing and as well
Yeah,
yes,
what Wim Hof is
exactly.
doing. It's a similar way.
Yeah.
I mean, harder to do, but
Yeah.
it's similar. And this is that's why I love Wim Hof.
Yeah.
That he's like he has this thing and he doesn't care what other people think. He puts it out there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
in the like
Exactly.
in every
And just
format.
breaks the records and
Yes.
just fucking.
Yes.
He doesn't give a fuck.
Look at this
shit.
guy,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
doing like splits. How old
He
is
still
he,
do
man?
them,
It-
yeah.
It's
He
crazy.
still does them.
It's
On
unbelievable.
the concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy
It's
is
amazing, yeah.
He's
but
funny.
But his motivation was also his wife's suicide. I think I think we all need this motivation to get out of the shell, to do something with our life, to find ourselves.
He actually had an actual survival situation. I imagine, I'm not him, but
Mental survival situation.
we've never talked to him about that.
No.
But I've heard it from other, podcasts and stuff. But that seems like, that's when you actually discover something, when you go somewhere no one else is gone. Like, I feel like that's what he did in a way. And
I mean, pain is a huge drive, right?
but imagine you so much pain that the only way you can, like mental pain, that the only way you can feel that pain is by sitting in cold water without knowing that cold water is good for you.
Yeah.
Right? Something out of a movie, like or something like that.
Yeah. I believe there will be a movie, right?
Yeah,
There
he
like
actually
a
told
Hollywood
us-
movie or
yeah,
something.
Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
He
Who
told
was
us
it
about
play? I don't remember.
Somebody-
I don't
like,
even think he remembered the name of the actor.
John Travolta. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if he was famous, but I'm looking forward to see that movie.
Yeah, he said the guy that I don't remember, but
Yeah.
the guy that was really good at serious roles. That's what he said.
What the fuck is that? Yeah, it's great.
Narrows
Had
down
no
to
saying
50.
in there.
Yeah,
Oh man.
No,
that's great.
Yeah.
All right.
think
Cool.
we've been through it
André.
all, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome conversation and
Yeah.
amazing to talk to you in person. That's what it's all about.
For sure. Thank you guys for
and,
coming here.
Oh
It
man,
was
for
nice.
sure. And one day, I think
We're gonna
I can
climb
speak
a
for-
mountain.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I
Yeah.
think
You
I speak for
should
both
do
of us
it.
when you say, when you climb a mountain one day,
Bring us.
not one day, we got to commit also. But like, we would love to try and
Yeah.
join.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, we are working as well on different things, how to, because when I started to really putting out what I do, it's like a lot of people come and can I join? Can I do anything or whatever? So as well, we have a few thoughts how to bring more of this to more people as well, like the suffering part and stuff. I believe it's very, and it's a, like people want it. If they do it, they desire it. They really go after it. I mean, they have people like 50,000 people run a marathon here in Berlin. It's crazy. They want it, and because they're all the happy people.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a community like the runners and the trail runners community. Like, there's just happy and people with motivation, people with desire, people with smiles, because they do something. They do something.
Yeah.
They go out there and they do something for themselves. And this is a great community. And it's awesome to be part at the moment and really like talking to people that are just every day taking another chance and taking another dip at at happiness.
Yeah.
That's also what I need in my life, this community around these holistic health principles.
Yeah.
Like you have, you say with your friends and you
But that's what we're trying to build as well with this thing, you know? We come down and meet people. There's not a lot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of search to find them. And when you do, they kind of come out, you know?
Yeah.
Then they show themselves.
I mean, there are more than
more and
we
more
probably
and more.
believe.
Yeah.
There
are
some.
some.
But, you know, like a society life is not supporting all
it's
these
difficult.
beliefs, right?
It is
And it's so
Unfortunately not.
difficult. And this is as well communities. I mean, this is as well what women are doing amazing, I believe, because there's all these women's circles and with their beliefs and helping them and everything, and postpartum, like when they is it postpartum, like after the birth and everything,
and
like
they come
everything, because
together.
it's very hard for the women, you know, the body changes, hormones and everything, and they come together and they have this great communities. And we as men, we don't really
we
have
isolate
this
more
and stuff. This is all for themselves, and this is something as well where we have a few thoughts for building like communities for this as well, for hard stuff, but as well for spiritual and emotional stuff. Because like when we were us 5 guys, us alpha males, what we call us, in the room doing the breath work, I mean, there were tears and everything, right? Because it's as well deep. Everybody needs to let something go. So this is something I believe is very important for the
new
man.
age.
For the young man. I get so many messages like young dudes being like, what do I do with my life? Like, what is really my role? And is it toxic if I want to make money? Is it toxic as a man if I speak to a woman? Because it's so that it's so hard.
The information is so all over the place. Yeah. I mean, it must not be easy to grow up now.
For sure.
Compared to when we grew up.
For sure.
I mean, there's definitely a lot more information and you have to learn how to filter. And that's why I feel like it would be best just as if you feel that way, then you got to delete all of the social media. That's what I would do. That's the first thing I would do. I would book a plane to India and I did that before. And I would go in an ashram for 10 days. No speaking, no social media, no nothing. And then again, like you say, once you do these difficult things, which are not difficult, they're just things that sometimes you need to do, you get the answers. They come into your head and then don't ignore them.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, this is pretty difficult to don't speak for 10 days.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do that though. But
it should be enlightening.
Yeah,
it should be,
I heard about it.
Or traumatic.
Or like the dark room experience. The dark room where you only sit in that.
I saw that, I saw that.
That is...
Yeah, we got to try that too.
Yeah, I'm going to wait a couple years for that one.
Dig a big hole.
Holy hell.
Yes.
All right.
But yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure to talk to you.
Until next time. We got to do one more. We got to do one more at some point.
Absolutely.
But it was a pleasure.
Amazing. Yeah, I liked it as well.
Thank you.
André.